what has been billed as an interview with three of our main teachers, one whom will be joining us in a little bit. And the idea was to ask the questions that were sent in a little while ago when a request went out to all the different regions for questions for Daddy Janki. And so these were some of the questions that came back. Some of them have been asked of her already, but as we all know, Daddy usually takes a class on each question, and so it may be a little while before we would get answers to all of them. And we certainly don't want Didi Sudesh and Didi Nirmala to give us one-word answers, but it'll be very interesting to see what their take on these are. But I'm not sure how many of you know our two Didis apart from their names and their titles, and that they're responsible for different parts of the world. In one instance, the Australasia.
Somebody is questioning.
No translation for Hindi. Hindi, there hasn't been anybody for translation. They got stuck somewhere.
That happens. So we'll proceed, yeah? And so a very warm welcome to Sudesh Didi and Nirmala Didi.
Thank you.
And should I, before going on to these international questions, ask them a little bit about themselves? Would you like to get to know them a little bit better? Yes, I think so too. And so Sudesh Didi has been with Baba for the past 46 years, and Nirmala Didi, her junior by about 3 years. So they're very definitely the same generation, and it's interesting to see how similarities in their path led them to the West to become instruments for different languages, different nationalities, different cultures, etc. And so we always like to see things in the context of history, or in the context of their beginnings. And we sometimes see our elders and we think they were born in white saris, and they always, they were always BKs. And so just to reminisce a little bit, I would like to ask them to go back to those early days and give us a sense of what it was that convinced them that this was God and that Brahma Baba was his instrument. And so, whoever would like to start?
My early days of spiritual childhood. In fact, I was still not so mature, even my physical age, when I came to Baba, between 15 and 16 years age. And Lokik study I had done fast, so though I was doing my Bachelor of Arts degree, it is called BA in India. And so I came to Baba. What convinced me was that he listened to me. My search was from my childhood when I was 3 years old. Oh. Yeah, I liked to go just in the temple or whatever it was. I was pulled. Always I liked when something is very religious, especially when the temple, the lights, they are singing, doing the arti. I was so fascinated by that I think these lights are dancing, and I wanted to dance with them. And so, but I did not know what this pull was. Now I can understand it was a pull toward the spirituality. And then became busy as I grew up. I had become very busy in my studies because I did two classes in 1 year. 3rd and 4th in 1 year, and 5th and 6th in next, and 7th and 8th in the other one. So 3 classes I did. 6 classes I did in 3 years. So I jumped into the co-education. where 600 boys were there and only 11 girls were studying.
How many girls?
600 boys and only 11 girls. Because
So now,
it was
now the
boys'
balance
school.
has shifted, Sudhashtiri,
Yeah.
in the Brahma Kumaris.
Yeah, I'm just coming. And that time, it was a spiritual aspect, was that I wanted to serve humanity. That was connected. The spirituality was not only I wanted to be a social worker, social server, because from going to that college, on the way there were poor people and I wanted to serve them. So this created the feeling, and what pulled me to Brahma Kumaris was, I spoke to my auntie, my heartfelt feeling that I don't want to get married and I want to serve people, but I don't want anybody pointing out a finger on my character. I was very proud of my character and of purity. And she says, you know, whoever Brahma Kumaris look at, they give drishti to that person, becomes pure. And I thought it was magic. We heard that they have magic in the eyes, and I thought, I want that magic, that whoever I look at, that person becomes pure. So this was the first pull. Though my bhakti was there, but I didn't come to Brahma Kumaris first for the search of God, came with this. And I came and met Kumarka Dadi. I just looked into her eyes, and I did not get, I thought, I didn't get anything. I did not know, it was very subtle anyway.
This was where?
In Delhi. Dadiji was in Delhi at that time, in 1957. This is the story of 1957. Then Baba came, Delhi. He was passing through. And so I met him, and that was a very beautiful scene. So I don't go into detailed scene of that.
Why not?
Yeah, shall I?
Yes.
So I just came with my Lokik mother and I sat there. I had not taken the course, only some information from my auntie and from my college friend. So Baba was there in Delhi, and on the roof, flat roof, the class was happening there. And the sister said, no, you cannot go because you have not taken the course. And this is for the regular students. And so my friend said from my college that she is spiritual, let her go, she would not cause any problem. So she let me go, and I sat just very near the door thinking that if I don't understand and I feel confused, I can go out. No? So I just sat there, and I sat with my eyes closed. I did not know that you have to meditate with eyes open. Nobody is talking, people are still. I was accustomed of bhakti song, not singing. Nobody is doing any kirtan or anything like in the temple. And then I opened my eyes and I saw Baba sitting there. So he would have come quietly and sat there. And when I opened my eyes, I saw this, the man, the body of light. I said, how could be this person, the body of light? So I thought my eyes were, perhaps it is the reflection of the sun. It was actually September month, and it was evening time. It was evening class. Sun was just stillness. And I said, maybe the reflection of the sun, that this light is focusing on him. So I changed my seat from there to there. And then I still didn't see the body of light. I closed my eyes and pinched myself, am I awake? But interesting scene was why I felt that I was awake or asleep. When I see Baba, I see this like a translight picture, the aura of light. Now I can call aura angelic form. At that time I did not know. And so when I open my eyes, I see Baba, this body of light. And when I close my eyes, I see just like a moonlight around me, and I'm absorbing this light. And tinkling feeling when it is very hot weather and the body is perspiring, and cool breeze comes and coolness comes. And so I felt like tingling this. So it was like a game. And then suddenly the thought comes, might be this person a magician? Magic? So I am having such a wonderful experience, and the mind plays game that I don't want to believe that. So I look at my mother was actually had come with me. I say, okay, if something happens to me, my mother is there. So I just remembering her at that time while I'm having such a wonderful scene. It was not security. So when we went home, we did not know Baba gives toli or whatever. When people stand up, we went, what is finished, we went home. So I told my mother on the way that the experience that I had, I say, this Guruji, I thought he was Guruji. I said, this Guruji spoke, what he spoke I did not know, but the experience of light, what I shared with her. She says, he was a wonderful, he spoke such a wonderful knowledge, the truth about the Gita, all my questions are answered. This is the true knowledge. And then she says, but I didn't see any light. So I did not hear the knowledge. Yeah, in between was actually one, when I heard, I say I want to hear what he's speaking, I heard only the word light. I said, this is a strange Guruji. He speaks about light. His body is light. Does he eat light? Was he born like light? So my mind were in questions rather than to understand what Baba was speaking the Murli. And so then she said, but she did not have the experience of light, but she had a very beautiful understanding of knowledge. So next day when I asked this, my friend Subhash was her name, and she says, you know, God was speaking to him. I said, but I didn't hear any thunder. Because God speaks, it was very beautiful weather. And then she says, God does not need to create thunder. If he creates thunder, how would you hear him? And then I said, you really, truly, God the Almighty entered his body? He says, yes, she says. And I say, impossible. The body will burn into ashes now. And she says, how can God harm this now? So it was a little bit too much for me. And when she saw me confused, that Almighty entering the body, this again my question. She says, see, Almighty does not mean to burn somebody's body. His might is spiritual might. But he uses the might he wants to use. I had handkerchief in my hand. He said, if you drop your handkerchief, can you pick it up? I said, why not? How much energy you use it? She asked me. I said, what energy? I just lift like this. Not even quarter, nothing, no energy is needed for this. She says, can you lift 30 kilo weight? I said, perhaps not 30, but 20 kilo I can. The suitcase, we go in the train, we have to set ourselves. She says, why don't you use yours when you are lifting the suitcase? Why don't you use your muscles? Because I said, when I can use my muscle and I can lift the suitcase. She says, when you lift your handkerchief, why don't you use your muscles? I said, I am not mad. If I would use this, people would think I was mad. I don't need to use my muscles. And she looked at me deeply and she says, Sudesh, do you think God is mad? When you have understanding that you need the energy only what you want to use, and you used it, rest you use whenever you need to use. So God is also wisdom of wise. In order to speak, he does not need to create thunder. In order to show his energies, does not to burn anybody. And then she explained God is incorporeal, needs a body and to come in. And I said, but I was sitting with my eyes closed. And now I want to go and see how God enters. Next day I went, Baba had gone already. He was passing through Delhi to go to Punjab at that time. So now I started, interest became that I want to know how God enters. And so by the time I studied thoroughly, thinking this is university course, and I was doing my university at that time. So I did really every day some questions, studying, making my notes. I prepared 360 pages book for that. Then Baba came back. I did not know. One of the sisters told me, this Krishna from Suriname and her sister, they came and said, are you waiting for Baba? I said, but I do not know Baba has come. Because I used to go lunchtime directly from my college because my parents did not allow me to go, so I go secretly. So I used to go and read the Murli and come back. And she says, Baba is there. I say, yes. So I asked the teacher, can I meet Baba? Because my parents would not allow me to come. She says, no, it's not the time, it's time for rest. Tomorrow morning you can come and meet Baba. Baba will speak Murli tomorrow. So by the time I had understood God enters, He is incorporeal, He needs a body, He needs a corporeal form. This had become clear through study deep. Mm-hmm. So here I was reading the Murli as usual routine and meditate. So when sister said no, I could not argue with her. So I sat in meditation and I said, God, you have come from Paramdham and you are sitting here on the first floor. Can you not come to meet me? This sister says, I cannot meet. Nobody will allow me to come tomorrow. Can you not come to meet me? This was in meditation. My meditation finished, I read few sentences of Murli and I saw Baba coming from there. No, for it was a building in the middle and from back side is also the door to come. So he did not come from front door. Must after lunch just a walk. No, it was lunchtime from after college finished and used to go. And I saw Baba coming and I just rushed, Baba! And I just hugged Baba. And Baba looked into my eyes. And I felt Baba has accepted me. He knows me. And he says, daughter, you can come tomorrow morning. No one will stop you. How does he know? That here is God. He heard from Paramdham. He came here, he listened to me. And then I went home and I told my mother, tomorrow I'm going. And I came. So by the time, every time I was come, it was because could not leave so early home. So Baba had finished the Murli, used to finish the Murli and Didi ji holding Baba's hand used to come in the room. And that place they will sit and it was called chamber, means sitting together. And Didi Manmohini would always ask questions. Baba said this, what it means? Or is it right she has understood like this? And I became from the very beginning part of that gathering because I did not come for the did not reach the Murli time. And it is just finishing the Murli and I arrived. And so it became like a personal coaching, personal chit-chat. And how I felt closeness with Baba, this was that yes, God listens to me and then I belong to Brahma Baba. So Baba one day said, I am going to write a letter to your father that you come secretly here. I say, you do not know I come? Now I am Brahma Kumari, you are my father. You don't know I come? He says, you are very strong. So it was a close relationship built, feeling in love. And this is how I know the truth, knowledge I was attracted, and the personal experience.
Actually, it seems like you had the personal experience first.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Didi Nirmala.
Om Shanti. My story is totally different. I studied in girls' schools, so there were all girls around me. And in my family, we were 7 sisters, so even girls around in the house. And university, we had boys and girls, but I don't think ratio was so different as Sudesh Ben's. Because I think there would be 60% boys and 40% girls in our university also. Now, when I came to Gyan, I had finished my medical studies, and even when I was 16, 17, because my all sisters got married at the age of 19, so my parents were trying to get me engaged, and I said, no, until I finish my medical studies, I don't want to get married. And so when I finished my medical studies, suddenly I was invited to Brahma Kumaris by Usha Ramesh. Usha was my friend in university. So I went to listen to Mama's talk. First day I met Mama. She was giving a talk. And then Usha suggested at the end of her talk, Mama's talk, that why don't you do the course? So I started doing course. And then once I finished my course, I started coming to evening class, because by that time I was working in the hospital and I could not come for morning murli. So I kept on coming to class without having faith or understanding who Brahma Baba was. I liked Brahma Kumari's teaching, purity, and I think there was nothing much to do for me in the hospital in the evening. So I could easily go to attend the classes and courses. So I had this question for nearly 4 or 5 months. Shiv Baba is okay, it was okay for me to accept Shiv Baba, but Brahma being the medium was question for me for 4 or 5 months. Because bhakti also, we were told about God, and so God is okay, incorporeal. It was not big deal for me, though my Lokik family was all Vaishnava, believing in Krishna and Lakshmi Narayan and all. So as a child, I used to go to temples, do my devotion, and once in a while, not regularly. I wasn't great devotee, but going to temples and on festivals days, or when I was free to go to pilgrimages with my family. So that was a routine in our life. But study was a priority because of medical studies. It's quite intensive. So I wasn't regular in any satsang or anything. So I started going to class every evening, and Mama was in Bombay, so I used to attend her talks once in a while, because Mama used to give only morning class and I could not go for morning class. Being in a hospital on a duty, I could not go. So what helped me to have this full faith in Gyan was the Yagya story. When I heard Yagya stories of many miracles that happened to many souls, how through trance messenger they were getting messages, and that helped them to overcome even sicknesses and all. When I heard all those magical stories of Yagya, I said that must be true. And when I accepted that as a truth, then I said whatever Baba is telling must be truth. So I didn't have any magical experience in meditation or any other thing, but that's how I carried on studying, and I met Brahma Baba only after 1.5 years of Gyan. Mama, I used to see her quite often in Bombay, because Mama was in Mumbai. For my first 6-7 months of Gyan, she was in Mumbai. And then also Mama was most of the time in Mumbai because of her sickness and all. So in, I think 2.5 years of my being with Mama, I met Mama more than Brahma Baba. And so Baba used to call me Mama's flower also, because I was spiritually born while Mama was in Mumbai. So it was just faith developed gradually, but I had been very regular student right from beginning, and that discipline of Lokik study helped me to be a good student in Alokik life also.
So tell me again, where did you first meet Brahma Baba?
After 1.5 years of Gyan,
But where? In Mount Abu?
in Madhuban.
And what was the feeling when you saw him?
There was nothing magical experience apart from feeling of belonging.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Belonging, that I belong to this family, and that was right from first day coming to center. I didn't feel that I come some new place, but feeling of this is my family, this is where I belong, and that helped me to carry on.
Okay. A very big welcome to Sister Mohini.
Right time.
Right time. Mohini Ben, Siddhesh Didi and Nirmala Didi have we just wanted to get a little bit of a personal experience before launching into the questions that came from around the world. And they have both shared with us what it was that gave them the faith that this was God and that Brahma Baba was his instrument. And so, if you wouldn't mind, could you share a little bit with us of your story and how you came to that recognition?
5 minutes.
If it's a good story, we don't mind how long it takes.
No, we didn't limit. I thought I will hear something first. I actually got to see Dadis when it was in 1952. I was 11 years old. They were visiting my grandparents' home. And that's where I used to live, with my grandparents. And they had come to Delhi. And it happens like when you go to a new city, you always look for old contacts, like if you know someone. So I think that they got the address of our home. So they came to visit, and then because some of my Lokik family members were in some government positions, so whatever help they needed in terms of rationing, telephone, things like that. So they generally used to come for that.
You mean Brahma Kumaris had
Dadis, when I say
Dadis.
I didn't use word Brahma Kumaris, but at that time they were sisters.
Establishment of the yajna.
Yeah, it was 1952, when they had moved in 1951. And you must have heard that they came to Delhi first. And they were in Old Delhi. We were not very far. Our Lokik home was between New Delhi and Old Delhi. So it was very convenient for them. They used to come, I used to see them almost every day, lunchtime or 11, 12 o'clock. Still remember Didi, Ganga Dadi, Manor Dadi. Most of these daddies, they must be in early 30s at that time. Very beautiful, all of them. Very short, no? No one was tall. Never saw Chandramani Dadi. But they looked very beautiful, very radiant. They must have, because of 14 years of tapasya, they had just come out. So you could just feel it. But there was a big discipline which had been set by my Lokik grandfather that no children can appear in front of them, because being from Sindh, he was very scared that these BKs, when they look into children's eyes, my children are gone. And so he was very scared, so no one of us were allowed to come in front because it was a quite extensive family and very big home, so we were all at the back, and this used to be front living room. Anyway, but when you are stopped to do something, there is more excitement, some or other. So we knew that around 1:30 they are about to leave. So we'll go from the back door and then still want to see who they are, try to start communicating, and they are the ones who used to tell beautiful way certain stories about Brahma Baba. Because they used to say Baba, Baba. Nobody will know it's Shiv Baba, but to me I figured out there is some old man, they calling him Baba. But it was very lovely feelings which through their conversation was created in my heart for Brahma Baba. And this desire in me to kind of get in contact with Brahma Baba, who this Baba is on top of mountain, and this curiosity was there. And we keep talking, and then I used to ask them what he likes, what he eats, and can I send something for him like candies or biscuits, or so that's as children they say, no, he doesn't eat candies, he doesn't eat biscuits. And they were, what he eats? Say anything which is made at home, And now we couldn't make anything can't think of. So I said, can we, how to make it, can we send some money? So I will ask all other children also, can we send something for this Baba? And so these are little stories, but why I mentioned it, because my feelings towards Brahma Baba was created through them. And then something started happening, must be their magic, when I was 15, 16. So contact stayed with family, but one thing also, as Dr. Nirmala mentioned, that one very important condition in the Lokik family was education. And my grandfather had this determination that every daughter should get few degrees, because he believed that they shouldn't be financially, economically, their fortune should depend on men, because if something happens in their family, then my daughter should still be, so he had this kind of feeling. So I knew that I have to study whatever happens. But after a few years, I think again some more contact, or I start waking up early morning and start having some, experiences of being pulled. Then I asked them, what is the way to contact your Baba? And they say, you can write a letter. So I said, okay, and then I started writing to Brahma Baba without knowing who is, what is, so I wrote letters. And some or other, this whole feeling of, so in one letter I wrote to Baba that, what is the way you adopt children? Can I become your daughter? So Baba sent a beautiful answer. And these sisters were so smart, you know they are smart, but when I say that, they say they're not going to give me a letter until I go to the center. And I had great resistance to go to center. I don't know why. Because I knew that if you go there, then you have to be committed. And I was not really very willing, or I was not decided. And they said, no, you have to get reply, you have to come to center. And a new center started near our home, 20 minutes walk from there. So anyway, I went there and they gave me a letter. And Baba said, it's very, very easy to become my daughter. You just have to come every morning to class. So I thought, well, and then these daddies, they said, well, you get letter, now what you think? I said, you have to give me time to think, because I was still a student and it's not easy. I used to leave home at 7 in the morning and not come back until afternoon. But then as soon as I finished my school and I had to join university, there were 2 months in between. And that's one time our family gives you permission, like, what would you want to do? So I said, maybe I should give a chance to visit this BK center. And they said, no, we don't accept anything else you ask for. So there was, because they had a lot of fear. They had a lot of fear that once I go, then I will say, I don't want to marry, and it will become a social issue. And so they were very scared, like they had a lot of restrictions. But then at that age, so some or other, I convinced them that give me just 1 month, let me go. So when 1 month was over, then, because Shanti's parents, he's my uncle, and so they both went to talk to the teacher that how long she will continue. And this Rukmani Dadi at that time used to come to that center, and she smilingly said, but this course never ends. But she had said 1 month, and now... Anyway, but I, some or other, continued. It's a very long story. But my fortune was after 1 month, Brahma Baba was visiting Delhi. And I was so excited. And I had started going for morning class. Morning class at that time used to be 5 in the morning and 20 minutes walk. So I used to leave around 4:30 in the morning. And you only see those milkmen delivering milk. There was no one else, and especially young girls at that time. And there was such a negative atmosphere about BKs that once you are in whites, people will open their windows to peep, she's going to Brahma Kumari. It was like but then at that time you are young, you have a lot of courage, you don't care for anything. And I will pass all these eyes, people looking and peeping.
Go alone.
Yeah, in the morning.
Alone.
In the morning, first for a while, and then later on this Sister Sundri, who is my sister-in-law now, used to live upstairs, so we were friends. But her father was more strict than even my family. So, but then I used to tell her that they are still sleeping, then you start coming with me. So then 2 of us used to go. But then sometimes he will lock the door, she won't be able to come out, and so I used to go alone. At that time you walk fast, you just run and you reach, and I used to be there 5 to 5. But when I heard Brahma Baba is coming, then all excitement, and so they made appointment for me to meet him. It was 4:45. And that's the time I think he used to come out in the living room and have tea or whatever, snacks. And so when I went in to meet him, he was sitting, and it was very beautiful conversation. But what I still remember, his blessings. Now we know word blessings, but he, like tea was served and there were some snacks there. So I also joined him, and he started asking me what I study, what are my hobbies, what I do in free time. And there was little conversation, but every time I will respond, he will say something very nice. And one thing I heard, just few words I remember was, you have a very clean hand, or like I was helping to serve, and 2-3 words like, that one I still remember, but others says, but like I felt he's saying so many good things. And I thought that, every good person will say good things, so he's a great person. But what I was impressed was, of course, like it was, his personality was like, when we say something which is very clean and white. But I think now I feel what I was seeing was, it's a very different kind of white and clean. And now I could relate, it was like a light. Right. At that time, because it's gross eyes, you don't see in a subtle way. But what I was impressed was everything was so well organized, and his what I got very connected was the practical aspect of whole thing of BKs, like how they bring things, how disciplined they are, how clean, politely they were talking. Baba will give signal, they will understand. I was very impressed by that. After that, then every day after, Baba said, whenever you want to come, you can come. So after college, I will go directly and spend evening with him, and then he will talk to me. I had in my university world history and political science. So he used to talk about, this is the history, God explains what you study. So Baba, but there was no age difference. Like he was 83 when I met him, and I'm 16 here. And the way he will sit and chat, like you forget that, generally when you look at an old man, you're sitting at 16 and you say, what am I going to talk? But the way he will start conversation, that you don't feel that there is such a difference between my age and his. So got very connected. And I definitely feel that every day he asked my hobbies, and he said, okay, Baba wants somebody to drive him, so you should learn driving. I learned driving just because I want to drive him. Then he said, Baba likes somebody to be a magistrate or a lawyer because he wants to take this case in the court on God of Gita. So I said, maybe I should join law. I mean, you try to do whatever. That's how I did journalism. I went for law for 6 months, and I learned driving so that I can drive Baba. So it was like very practical, It's not, I think if he would have said that I should just sit and be a yogi or tapasvi, I don't know if I would have connected. So I think we got very connected more into practical things. Then he asked me if I want to go to London. I said, no way, that's not where. So from very beginning, the first week, he's talking and his thoughts about foreign countries got connected when I went. I think maybe it was the language which he taught me. I knew English, and so because I went to English-speaking, English medium school. So that's all. But then Baba said, when it was my first vacation, to come to Madhuban and spend a month. And I said, but nobody would want me to come. Then he invited my mother, that if she can bring me. That was the only way. And my mother, didn't have courage because she thought, what will people say? Because in Sindhis, there is a lot of this dowry, and we are very socially in the sense of that. So she said, no, people think I can't get my daughter married. Maybe I'm taking her to BK's. And but somewhere or other I convinced her, please come, let's go. So I went for 1 week. I came for 1 week to Madhuban in 1958, first time, and I still remember the room and exactly everything, where I stayed first time when I came. And of course, Baba's lightness, personal interest into life was main thing, which I was surprised that what you like to eat. Why will Baba ask you what you like to eat? And then, of course, I had started learning some cooking, so he will ask me what I like to cook. So in those days when we used to come, then when you come later on, when I start coming as with the center students, then you have to cook all 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, with the group. So that used to be interesting. Then he will say, oh, she makes this very good. It's like a lot of personal interest. I think that helped me to feel that, I could just surrender, I could just... Dadis left their homes without thinking what will be their future. And it's not I was concerned about future, but also, a human aspect of Baba was something which I really enjoyed. And of course, spirituality, how much we understand at that time. I didn't know much about spirituality, but inspired me to... Traveling was one thing from day one. And one thing I never liked was to get in the train, because I am not a public person. I am not a people of crowds. And no, I had to, really start traveling from very beginning. So I went to many different places. So traveling is one thing which Baba got started for me. Every exhibition, every place, every new center, everywhere I must have gone. At that time there were just few centers. So that's what I think what I enjoyed with Brahma Baba was his human, that relationship which he created in a very beautiful way. And of course, a lot of his love, which I feel sustained me. And he told Didi and others that don't tell her anything, which I came to know later on. Because on one side I was a very gentle person, but I can't take, like if people will say things not in a right way, that's where I get turned off. So one time one senior said, tomorrow you all have to bring this. And she said 3 times. So I said, if we don't bring, then what, I knew it's not a right answer, but that kind of personality where, I always thought that, people are independent and you have to be free. There's nobody who's going to tell you. So we created a lovely relationship with daddies. In the beginning there was difficulty because they were very traditional. Very traditional. Even if you could keep your foot like this, they say she is very fashionable. Anything you do, you are fashionable. I said, but we left everything, We had simple hair, we had simple clothes. But every time they will say, oh, they are from college, it's fashion. So one day we sat and we said, how to fill in this gap between their tradition and ours, how much simple our lives had been, the newbie case. And one day Didi and we sat and said, how to fill in this gap now? And so interesting that whole concept of, because as soon as they used to come, we used to feel like a supervisor has come. And I don't believe in somebody supervising. So I told them that you all should come as senior sisters. You all shouldn't come in like, only we have to see if this is right or that is right, that's not right, that kind of. And then a lot of conversation helped us to bring in a kind of, alignment between those BKs, senior ones and the new generation which came. And they loved us because I think one reason is that I was very supportive to all daddies. Anything, anytime they needed, whether to go with them, to get things for medical, So I think very good relationship with daddies also got created, more as friends and family friends than just as senior yogis. So I have this kind of feelings of childhood.
Maybe going on from what Sister Mohini is saying about this, from one generation to the next, and maybe within that, the balance of love and law, that sometimes you're just seeing the law. And so this is a question that has come from the Hungarian family, and they're saying that Baba often speaks about the balance of love and law and not to take the law into your own hands. So they want to know how in the center can we maintain the atmosphere of not causing conflicts or resistance from the students, especially if they're stubborn, and they're still claiming their rights. They say they're claiming their rights, and we're wanting them to observe certain disciplines. How in that situation do you maintain the balance of authority or of law and of love? Suresh Didi.
Baba speaks about love and law. It's the spiritual laws. In the knowledge, it's very clearly spoken what Baba is teaching us. And so, as an instrument, it is not that I become judgmental. So when we are making our decision on the way we want, so that in stubbornness in us, it is not the stubbornness in them.
Okay.
And so then we don't want to, when we don't understand what they really want, on the basis of knowledge, has to be made clear what Baba is saying. What are the spiritual laws? Just like if they are doing wrong and I am also doing them wrong, I have taken law in my own hand. This Baba gives the example, if somebody hits you and you hit back, then it means that you have taken law in your own hand, means you are punishing that person. And if student is not accepting, then it is not necessary that because they don't accept me, then I have to create the relationship with others, with my seniors, so then they can believe and accept them. rather than I forcing them that they had to do this thing. So it is one aspect is this, not taking law in your own hand, means not being, giving your judgment to them that you are wrong. Understand is that this is, perhaps they are not understanding, or maybe I am not understanding them.
Mm-hmm.
And the stubbornness is if someone does not want to change their ideas, the way they want to do. So it means equally I am also not accepting them. So in this situation, I bring what Baba is saying, what are the spiritual laws, what are the spiritual teachings. This is what my understanding is. And if they don't accept, then it means the time has not come yet. Because whenever anything is told by force, its reaction comes. And in this way, then it means that they feel that we are controlling them. So according to my way of handling is that like, yes, telling this is the spiritual thing, it should be followed in this way. Now you understand the way you understand, but this is how I understand. And if there is something really that has an influence which is disturbing service or disturbing Yagya system, there then I connect the seniors. And then I ask what should be done. Or asking them to just please write a letter to Dadi. So it's not a fear that means I would not be accepted, or what would Dadis think about me. In this way I don't. Not taking law in my own hand means like let them just be supported from somewhere. If they are not accepting my support and I have good wishes for them, so at least they have somewhere where they can be sustained. Yeah.
Okay. All of you are educated. I think Mohini Ben might even have the distinction of being the first sister in the Yagya with a degree. Is that right?
All us actually were same.
Certainly,
same time.
yeah. That was a new thing. And so, Didi, my question for you then, we know that Baba does everything, right? But he can only use what you make available to him. And so I want to know, does Baba work more through your intellect or through your heart? And if maybe there's a process there, or it has shifted or changed over the years,
or through my face.
Well, that too, that's a given. But your intellect, your intelligence, or through your heart, through your feelings.
I think a lot of people, you were
asking her. Let me ask this one to Didi Nirmala first.
Nirmala, right?
Yeah. Here we go.
Shanti. I would say that I have always been using the wisdom, and so I had, even before Gyan, my friends used to say, oh, she's very wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say wisdom, or it comes to like more intuition as what should be done, what should not be done. So that has been always there with me. Over the years, I think there hasn't been a great shift.
No?
Not, I haven't noticed myself.
We have to ask Australian
I was
family.
going to say, we should ask. Well, what might the shift look like?
Huh?
What might the shift look like?
Because so whatever has been transformation in me has been gradual. And once your transformation is gradual, you don't notice yourself. So if there is sudden shift, then actually one notice oneself.
Maybe it's a little bit in relation to this same thing as we were asking Sudesh Didi, the love and the law, because certainly we can see sometimes how as a junior, that you'll apply the law because you've been told this and this and this is the way to do it, but then over time maybe the heart gets a little bit more engaged.
I wouldn't say even now I would still do it with heart, but the thing is, even that I would say the shift is more like a wisdom. I know that the true love is accepting as they are and let it take their own time, own speed. So I would say still it's my wisdom saying that that's how they are going to go. They are not going to do fast. They know intellectually what is to be done if somebody doesn't do it. I said that's their way.
Okay, all right.
So I would say it is subtle love, accepting them as they are.
Yeah, of course. You'd have to say then that wisdom has a component of love in it too, yeah? And so for Sister Mohini, this is from the Czech Republic, and maybe it's, again, along the same line. The question is, what is the best way to see if the speed of my transformation is appropriate, and how do you gauge your transformation?
I think...
and the speed, if the speed is as it should be.
I think that whatever... It comes from, one feeling of appreciation, in the sense of that when there is self-transformation, everyone appreciates it and it's acknowledged in some way or other. Like I know that someone was asking that who chooses RCOs and who chooses NCOs and how do, your organization, who decides about all this. So I said, well, some of the things are decided on administrative roles, but mostly when it comes to seniority, it comes from your spiritual growth and spiritual transformation. So I always tell them that you have to earn it. You don't get it. You have to receive it. I think that self-transformation also gives you feeling of great joy. That means you start seeing your life more as, there's so much joy internally seeing yourself change. Because what changes you will notice are very, very subtle. And those subtle changes also help to, like Baba said, you have to get certificate from the self and the family and from Baba, no? So when you get certificate, then also, or if, I think if you are able to help souls to bring transformation in them, that also indicates that you are using the process and you are also helping others to see that. But if there is no self-transformation, then you can't help others also in that self-transformation. I don't know if there is anything like speed in transformation, but it's like, changes are very, very subtle, but also one of the sign of self-transformation is progress. That means you are progressing. And I feel transformation also is that your personality enhances, your capabilities grow in many, many different areas. Because you are not stuck, you are not a person who has fixed ideas and fixed, some people have very fixed way. And if you get fixed, that means you're not growing. So you stay very, very firm, but also very, very flexible. And I think that if there is firmness and also being flexible, I think it's more acceptance which comes also, that how you are accepted, whether by your team and whether by your nation or by your continent or by world in general, that also acknowledges the speed of transformation.
Okay. Sudesh Didi, this is a question, we've all heard it, we've probably all asked it, but your comments, and again I know that there'll be an ever deepening response from you. We understand that the drama is accurate and everything's predestined, yet it's said that the choices and decisions we make at every moment determines our future. So how do we reconcile these two opposites, which is a paradox? The drama's already predestined and designed beforehand, and yet we are making choices in creating our parts at every moment.
Shanti, drama is actually, when we say drama, there is a difference between the story and act. Drama means acting, expressing. And so Baba is telling us the story of the drama, the beginning, the middle and the end. And so that is just like a story is written beforehand. But if I read the story, I would not say I am seeing the drama, I am reading the story. But when that story is enacted, it is called drama. So Baba is giving me all the laws of nature and laws of spirituality. Drama is the laws of nature on one side. If I cannot divide the paper into split into two sides of the paper. Mm-hmm. So one side is the laws of nature, that is predestined. And the other side is the laws of spirituality, that is set in the soul. Mm-hmm. And the soul is acting with knowledge. So when I am performing that action, so that is what I am renewing my sanskaras again. So what I played before I have forgotten. So it is predestined, means the capacity is in me. But I have not, because of the influence of many things I have forgotten. And Baba is reminding me again that you did it last kalpa and you will do it again. But I don't remember. So when he reminds me, so again that courage comes. So it means I am making my future by acting it. So Baba is renewing this energy. And we are, by doing it, we see it renewal. And then if it doesn't happen, so then we would say, okay, that was. So act has to be performed. The other aspect I see this drama is very powerful for us to become free from the past depressions that the souls have. It's a very powerful tool for creating the future and becoming free from the past. It's all of us in human nature, we have two diseases, depression, hopelessness in ourselves, or other side is ego. And so if I'm doing something very good, I might become careless and I think I am very good. But I'm just not accepting others. I'm not playing by my role that I have to play. And so when ego comes, then Baba says, so what? You're supposed to be good because you have done it many times. What type of ego it is? It cannot be. You have done it many times. In this aspect, so I'm supposed to be. It is predestined and I am not doing anything. Drama is making it happen. And the other aspect is, when I become hopeless, then Baba says, why are you losing hope? You have done it many times. It's the same drama, but it's two different ways of one is to become free from the past failures and also become free from the present achievement. So whatever is happening, it's drama is doing, not I am doing. But then with this drama is making it happen. Means it is the opportunity, the time is making it happen. I have to do it. I have to re-record it. It is just like sometime Baba gives the example of his master's voice. This what is record it is called. It used to be, we used to play the gramophone
recordings. This was
gramophone
the
Gramophone
trade
record,
of
right? Okay.
Yeah, gramophone
trade,
record.
trademark.
Trades, yeah. And so Baba used to say that song is there, but it has played many times. The sound has become distorted. and the same song is cleaned and played again. So whatever actions we played, because of body consciousness, our energy has become low. And then we have to rebuild. It is predestined. It is re-recorded, but we have to re-record it to get it, hear it very clearly.
Clarity. Yeah. Okay, and
can I just say one word? Because a stage comes where your choice and drama won't be different.
Yeah.
In the sense of that you are so aligned with the drama and with the time that when you're making choice, it's like you're not dictated by drama, but somehow or other you're aligned.
Yeah.
That's the thought came in my mind, that you're not contradicting anything. You're not saying, I made this choice and, well, drama was not this way. But you will find that your choices are right choices. And making right choices is part of drama. And that's what drama you play. So really you should depend on right choices. And then you see how when it's right choice, drama is with you. It won't be contradictory.
But at the same time, what happens is, the question is, if it is predestined drama, do I have any choice? And that's where I would say, usually every day you decide or choose what you want to do, because you don't know what was in drama, and you think, okay, you are deciding, I want to do this, I want to go here, I want to go there. So on a practical level, we are choosing every day what to do, what not to do, what to cook, what to eat, where to go. We are making decision, but we don't know that it is according to drama.
so is choice an illusion?
Choice is not illusion, it is choice, but it is drama also. It's a story written also.
Yeah. Someone along the same lines here, this is from the Seychelles, and they, in fact, what they're kind of asking is, can it ever be okay to make mistakes? In that there's sometimes a process of learning that happens through mistakes.
Do I make mistake knowingly that I make mistake? If I say can I make mistake, it means that I am.
It's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake, then I'm willingly making it.
This is true.
So mistake is made when I am not aware, and then I realize that I have done wrong. That is a mistake. But no sensible person will make mistake by knowing that it is a mistake. It means that...
This is true. It's interesting how many people, like in high positions, when they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, doing something wrong, and they will say, this was my mistake. But if it wasn't a mistake, they knew what they were doing. It was just that they were caught. And so someone has asked the question, again, I'll pass it on to, well, Dee Dee's answered that one, Mohini Ben, that in the Brahman life, detachment is encouraged, but sometimes there's the feeling that nobody cares. And so they're asking to find a balance here.
I think that I use word that you should have affection, not attachment.
Okay.
Because if you do not have affection, then I think definitely for yourself or others, the feelings, I was talking to some souls that with some you can immediately have feeling of belonging, with some it's just like you just care for yourself, because you are also staying detached because you don't want to get affected, which could be fault in a way, because you could be affectionate, but a lot of people, many instruments, they're protecting themselves all the time. So if I'm using it more for self-defense, that detachment, then reaction will be there.
Right, okay.
But if you have affection, I think which is very important for every Brahmin to, everyone, whether it's a Brahmin or any soul in the world, want to experience feeling of affection, So I think one of the important quality within us should be love, should be affection. But when it comes to detach it in the sense of not getting affected, it should be my personal effort, but shouldn't be my attitude. You understand?
Okay.
So some of them have taken detachment, oh, I have eaten food, I don't care if anyone has eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. No, that's not how it works. It's a family. If you are on the table, you're eating. Have you eaten? Have you eaten? Have you eaten? Everyone should. It's very simple things of care, simple things of belonging, but some very self-centered people, and then they say, because I think that's a fear, or that becomes a personality after some time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you develop that personality, I feel that, that's why a lot of Brahmins and others will react to that, because there are no vibrant feelings from your being.
Makes sense.
As a very loving and affectionate person.
We're getting to 12:30, and so as we started off with asking you to share your experience, and it was beautiful hearing how you met Brahma Baba and your feelings for him. And of course, you must at some point when you all talk with each other, you must think, poor them, meaning us, who never actually got to meet Brahma Baba. Even though you understand that we have the recognition and all that good stuff, but I know you wouldn't trade your experience. Well, what I'd like to know is, for each of you individually, what is it that you feel that you took from Brahma Baba that touched your heart in a way that you have a concern to give to us?
I took from Brahma Baba the love and concern. That means his vision was so elevated. Means I did not have faith in myself that I could do something, but he is always encouraging and giving blessings and blessing. You are my rose flower. You will do. Means so many.
Nightingale.
Yeah, every time he would give such a wonderful inspiration, like just telling only the experience. And he said, what was my nightingale singing? Was singing, Gyan Nightingale singing very good song. And that made me realize that knowledge is a song. So I took it that his vision for us is like this. In the same way, my Maharati child will do this, for having courage, creating courage, sometimes creating so much, giving so much respect like this. So his means he could see the values and never discouraged in any aspect. But he was also very, very, very direct. It's not that he would ignore if we have made something, so if we are careless, immediately say, your yoga was not good. So it was this directness, but at the same time, a lot of concern and care. This is what my personal encouragement that
is for others. Beautiful. Didi.
His generous heart and unlimited vision, never limiting himself to one or another, but he considered everybody as his children. And so for me, considering everybody as my brother and sister is become natural. Second thing, as his Trikaldashi vision. He could see our past, present and future. And even each and every individual, just be in front of that person and within 2 minutes he would know that person thoroughly. So that Trikaldashi vision and maintaining always elevated vision of that future, that you can be that. And thirdly, a very good teacher, very disciplined, regular, punctual, never missing, giving class, and so very disciplined teacher.
Okay. Mohini-ben.
I think one of the richness was seeing God into how he acts through Brahma Baba. In the sense of sometimes what I feel that some Brahmins, because you connect more with incorporeal. And then, of course, Avyak Babdada, very much. But what I noticed, what I took lot, and I sometimes feel and I encourage is that, what I saw Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba, in the sense of, how he expressed himself. And one of that, of course, was that he was a family, like everyone is, as a father, as a family person. And that sanskar I took a lot, in the sense of that it's important for everyone to feel that they are part of family, as Brahma Baba always gave us that feeling. That's something sometimes I feel that if you only want to get connected with incorporeal, just with Shiv Baba, just as point of light, then there is experience, but to always think of that, how he brought, in the sense of we meet Avyak Babdada, that's one thing, but then when we saw him since morning until night, that when he was benefactor, in what way he was benefactor, when he was ocean of knowledge, in what way he was, so sometimes that's what I want to share with everyone through my presence, is that it's like whole day experiences, not only when we sit in meditation.
Do you find, because one of the things that you commented on that appealed to you in relation to Brahma Baba was his humanness.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something that you have taken on as well, that you want to transmit to others?
Yeah, because that's one thing I'm getting into the taxi to go, oh, have you taken food? Have you taken food? Bring this. She has gone. Why he has to do it when there were departments and there were, until now I have this nature, if, when guests come, like all the NCOs, anyone comes, if I want to know who is going to airport. So one time the sister who is coordinator didn't tell me, and when I asked, she said, but we do take care. I said, I know you do take care of who is going to airport for whom, but I want to know, because that's how I learned from Brahma Baba. Who is going, who is taking. I know that Vishwaratan Dada went up to bus station, or Vishwakishore Bhau went up to train station for me. It meant so much that when he was at train station, what he said. So it's not a question of anyone can go and just get anyone from airport. So when I go into minute details, then sometimes they understand that why I do it. And then, but as I'm saying, human aspect has to be taken care of, which I definitely, and this is how then the yagya, the way his whole personality and sustenance of yagya, what yagya provides us. So I, at least wherever I am instrument, want to make sure that it's really, it's like a yagya where everyone is taken care of in a proper way. So those were two things I thought, that his human, that's why I said his presence. And secondly, the yagya, feelings of yagya. It's not my center or even word center, but it's just yagya. And thirdly, one thing I just feel that we should never, what I learned, use word system and yagya as a putting pressure on others. Karma, yagya and system is used a lot by instruments. And I feel all three words sometimes could become pressure, like anyone does something, we say it's karmas. I never heard Brahma Baba telling us it's karma. It's like a kind of subtly you keep saying that you don't know karma, so what you're doing is strong karma. So word karma, and second also, one is to have in your heart is yagya, sustain, but keep saying it's yagya. This is not how yagya works. It's a pressure on other souls which are created. So karmas, yagya, and system word we should never use. We should always say it's one of the spiritual principle our life is governed by. So I'm just thinking that how Brahma Baba, everything was there in practical, but he never kept reminding us, like which we do as instruments, and that becomes pressure on instrument, and then some students say, on students, and some students say, every time our answer is karma, so you can't dialogue, you can't say anything because they say, you ask anything, no, this is not how yajna works. But then, so what I'm saying that you have to live by that. If you live, then automatically others will have that respect.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I feel, that Brahma Baba's the way everything is set up, all the principles and everything is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that every instrument and every place, wherever we have small center, big center, should really have similar kind of feeling, which is very important.
Okay. So a big thanks to all three of you. I hope you all feel that you've gotten to know our three deities a little bit better. Yeah? Good. And answers to some of the questions. And so, again, from all of us, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Do you find this format useful? You do, okay.
A lot of questions left?
Oh, yeah. I guess they agree. Yeah, there's
A lot of questions. But
Quite
they
a
are
few. Some
very,
of them
very
are-
practical, very good questions. I
Yeah. I've marked off some of them. Some of them are a little bit iffy.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a minute of silence before we...